No, no, it can't be born again, but you know, let's face it, we gotta change sometime.
From buyers. From buyers. From buyers.
Hey, what's up guys, how are you doing? So, I think I'm done with the league. This is gonna be my last build and my last video. But before I go, I always leave some gifts to my friends. You know I'm a nice guy. And before we go into the explanation of what the build is, just in case you want some more showcase, I'm gonna put at the end a wave 15 simulacrum and a tier 17 maps, just in case you wanna see how the build does in mapping and simulacrum. But the build does pretty well everywhere. Now, the build is very easy to understand, so it's gonna be pretty fast. But the thing I want to say right now, because I know this question is gonna be coming, is that I don't think you want to run that on a low budget. It's gonna feel a lot more clunky if you don't have all the pieces, and I'm gonna mention them when we go over them. There's some important stuff that you want to get in order to make the build feels good and achieve enough DPS. So first I'm gonna go over all the pieces that goes together, and then I will be explaining the crafting process for most of the pieces. First, we have a Dark Seer, and the important one is to get +2 maximum HP per level. Then we use the Apostate chest, which convert all the ES from armor to life. And that's how we scale as much HP as possible. The all resistance doesn't matter, the strength a little bit more, and getting a +2 level socketed minion gem is very cheap, so if you have the opportunity to do that, just do that. Next, we are using on all the other armor pieces the same idea, which is stacking a lot of VS on the prefixes and life. So we get the highest ES and life possible, which translates to as much life as possible. And then on the suffixes, we want to get chaos res and some stats to fix our stat requirement, and then get some more strength for more HP if possible. On the implicit, the glove, the most important is to get the unnerve, and the chaos damage research life is also very important, and I will explain that a little bit later. On the helmet, the implicit are not that very important, it's just a little bit more damage. And on the boots, the life regeneration rate is also decent, as well as the effect of onslaught. Next, we have the Raspberry Globe. So the globe is also very important to stack 78% of block for spell and attack. And to achieve that, you need the 5% chance to block implicit, as well as a 15% roll for the spell block on the shield. Next, we have the full-born astral projector, which the downside doesn't matter to us, because we are using a dissolution of the flesh, and the full-born replaces the bad mode that is less area of effect for Nova spell, and that's very good for us because we can take advantage of this distant cast, the cast on the Nova, since Dark Pact is a Nova, and don't get any nerf on our AoE. So it's pretty good. This full burn is pretty good for us, right? Otherwise, you can just put another ring and it will be around you. So it's another possibility. If you don't want to get that distant cast and don't mind running around 2 monsters to kill them, then you can remove this full burn and get another life ring. Talking about the ring, one of them must be a curse enemy on it with despair on it, because it's gonna skyrocket your damage. And the other important mod on it are obviously getting a Vermilion ring for the % max life, then getting a high max life roll as well as strength, and everything else doesn't matter. The 17% increased damage doesn't really matter since we have so much of that from the Raspberry Globe. So it's just, if you have open prefix and you don't know what to put in like me, just put some extra damage. And finally, we are using the Mage Blood. I don't know why I keep saying that. You don't need to be told why Mage Blood is so good. For the gems, sorry, we get the Dark Pact with increased crit, then we get an Awaken AoE, then we get an Intensify, then we get an Awakened Spell Echo, and an Awakened Void Manipulation. Sorry, I don't know what I have today. And that's gonna be it for big damage. Now, on the flask side, I'm getting some additional elemental resistance, some extra movement speed, some reduced effect of curse, and some chance to avoid being shocked because I'm using a Storm Shroud again. And that's gonna be it for the gear. Now, on the tree side of things, the most important thing to understand is that I'm using an adorned, and the number on it is the threshold for getting as much as possible from the jewel. So the jewel that I'm using are this one, 4% global crit multi on implicit, with 14 or 15 crit multi for spell damage and 7% increase max HP. If you have 15% increase extra max crit multi, then the 94% is gonna matter. Then the next threshold, if you don't, is to get 92% to get, it's the threshold for the 7% increase in max life. So no matter what, you don't want to run less than 7% on your magic jewels, and therefore you want at least 92%. The price gap from 92 to 94 is not that much, so I would just say get the 94, right? But if you want to save a few divine, then you go for 92, and don't go below 92. It's like you lose 1% max life per jewel, then it's a lot worse, right? So get at least 92, and the price is not crazy expensive. So then on the jewel side again, I'm using 2-3 passive voices because that's what I had left from my previous build. But if you don't have enough budget for it, you can just cut the Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh combo and just get some large cluster with chaos damage. And that's gonna be good enough, right? Next, on the jewel side, we are using a Dissolution of the Flesh, obviously 30%. And the Forbidden Flame I'm using is the Shaper of Storm, because we have such a large pool of damage per hit that the shock effect is very high. It's usually between 40 and 50%, and a little bit less on Uber bosses. Then I'm also using the Storm Shroud, like I said, and I'm using a Storm Shroud with Corrupted Blood cannot be inflicted on you. Now, if you find one, you can also get a 30% Dissolution of the Flesh with Corrupted Blood, which is very, very, very hard. You can also get lucky when you craft your jewel, and once again, I'll go over all the craft later. But if you get a Corrupted Blood on your implicit, then you're golden. Otherwise, if you're not lucky like me, you're gonna spend like 90 div getting a Corrupted Blood on your Storm Shroud. But this is very worth it. And the rest of the jewel are just some live crit multi, like I said before. This is all I get on the last slots, and some of them I got very lucky, and some of them are meh. But if I want to flex a little bit, this one is pretty nice. This one's very good. And that's it for the jewel. Now for the tree itself, there's nothing very hard to understand. We get HP everywhere we can. We get a pain attunement because, well, you get to low life by yourself pretty fast. And so we welcome the 30% more damage from it. Then we're gonna get all the life mastery, right? And some block. So we just grab one wheel of block here with the extra block spell per chance to block. Then we grab another block wheel here with the chance to block per chance to block. So you basically have the spell version and the attack version. So you get extra block from there. And the last two wheels of block are here. That's where we get... Oh no, sorry, that's not where we get. That's where we get the extra maximum chance to block. So we have the 3% extra chance to block from there. And if I remember correctly, the +3 is here. Alright, safeguard. So you get your +3 from this wheel, so you have 4 wheel of blocks, and everything else is like HP, 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 HP. The keystone that matters, not the iron wheel. The iron wheel is meh. I don't have a lot of strength, right? So this doesn't do anything, to be fair, because we have so much increased spell damage from the Raspite Globe that this is like nothing, and I would get just as much by replacing this by an extra 6% from here or from here. So I just left it because, I don't know, I felt like it. Then this Eternal Use is very, very, very important. So when I told you that the chaos damage discharge life was important, it's the same reason that the Eternal Use is, because it gives you this huge life regen or life recovery, right? And it's combining this with the leech, so they are additive one with each other with the other. So the recharge and the life leech are combining to get you a huge regen, and that's basically your resource cost. for Dark Pact. That's what you want in order to be able to spam your Dark Pacts. And the issue is, like, if you lose all form of recovery, like for example, if you hit a Maven Beam during the life phase, then you won't regen your life and you won't be able to cast. And that can happen also with some searing mark on the ground and some I forgot the name, the serious ground degen. So be careful where you stand, because the weakness of this build is degen. If you stand on degen, then the dissolution of the flesh doesn't activate and you cannot recover your life, and then you're gonna be dying. Now I also forgot to mention two things. First one is this full-born red dream. We get the version with the extra life per fire res. So we put it in this socket because we have already natural fire res on this side, and then we can just put some tattoo to add some fire res, which will translate to max HP for us. And the second thing I didn't mention is that you also need to get 4 block tattoo. That's it. With this setup, you need to get 4 block tattoo in order to just cap yourself 78-78. Finally, on the ascendancy side, we are taking advantage of the amulet that gives us a lot of HP for each empty socket, red socket, and then we combine that with the owl bloodline, which gonna give us action speed cannot be modified below base value, so it's making you immune to like the drowning orb, the petrification statue, the elder claw, like a lot of things that feels very bad. So this is the most quality of life you can get. Also, you get immune to crit damage from it, so it's a 2-for-1 like special. And the rest of the ascendancy goes for nearby enemy have -2 chaos res with extra chaos damage, wizard. You can stack 15 stack of wizard with this, so that's 60% more damage on top of 15% more damage. So this is basically 75% more damage, just a casual ascendancy, you know. And then we take the profane bloom, boom, satisfying pop when you're mapping. Yeah, end of said. Now, for the craft, the helmet and the glove I crafted myself, and the boots were for sale. I think was like 6-7 div, so I just, you know, saved a bit of money and bought them like that. Now, for the helmet and the glove, what I did is just buy the base with like 25-26 quality, because it was like a decent price. I think it was like 1 div for the base. And then I rolled with the essences, so I used some essences to roll like 2 mods that I wanted. ES, percent ES, flat ES, life, deck, strength, something that I want on the item, then use a fracturing orb. And if I'm lucky, then I finish the craft, right? If I'm unlucky, I buy a new base and I start over. So I got pretty lucky and hit both of them, but you repeat the operation until you get your good fracture. And then it's spamming essence again until you get what you want. So on my case, I used 1 essence of dexterity because I needed a big roll of dex. And basically I needed a big roll of dex and then a craft to fix my stat requirement. So I did it with the essence. And then once I had some decent enough prefixes, I've finished it with Eldritch currency, and then I crafted some cold chaos resistance on suffixes, and I'm done with it. I still have an open suffix that I can do something with, but I'm just too lazy to do anything, especially since the build doesn't really need anything else. Then the glove is the exact same thing, except this didn't need the tier 1 dex, so what I did was use instead the essence of flat ES until I hit the max life, and then once the prefix were done, I just prefix cannot be changed, reforge chaos on the glove until I hit the tier 1 chaos. Then I crafted the dex that I needed, and I'll be done with it. And like I said, the boots, I just bought them like that, right? which is the same. It's the same idea. If I had to craft them, I would do the same thing: buy a 25-26% quality base, spam essences until I hit two mods that I want on the item, fracture one of them, then spam essence until I fill up the prefixes. Like on this boot, I hit %ES on fracture, so I would do the same as the glove. Spam flat ES essences until I hit tier 1 life, and then prefix cannot be changed, reforged chaos. And since the cost of doing that, the fracture plus the base plus the reforge would be, I don't know, 10 div maybe on average, then just buying them for 7 div or 8 div, I don't know, I don't remember how much I paid, was, cost efficient for me. So I just went with that. You can check the market if you find something that's good enough. All you want is IES, Chaos Res, Dex, Life. That's about you. Just want to make sure that you're capped on Chaos Res and that you have enough stats to equip everything, right? For the rings, it's a little bit easier. What I did is I bought a Vermilion ring enter. Then I went to my arty crafting station and then I spammed Reforged Caster. So it's very cheap and just spam until you hit Curse Enemy with Despair on hit and T1 Strength. I think that's what I did. And once I did the Despair Strength, I just suffix cannot be changed, reforge life until I hit a decent enough life roll, and then I called it quit. Crafted some extra damage, and that's it. Slam some Catalyst on it to get even more life, and then done. So very easy to craft. Finally, you just have to craft this jewel for the adorned. So the way you do this is just by buying a synthesis base with 3 to 4 global crit multiplayer on base, on implicit. And then you're gonna roll it once with a gilded fossil to add a line that says items sell for much more to vendors. Then you're gonna be hog spamming the jewel, hog and alteration spamming until you hit the extra life and crit multi. So it can take a lot of it, but it's the best alternative to buying them 30 div done. You're gonna save a lot of money by crafting them yourself. So you spam until you hit your two prefixes and suffixes, so increase max life and crit multi for spells. Once that's done, what you want to do is maybe divine it to 7% max life, and then go to the menagerie and beast log them so you can check for two things. You want to check for divine and for a valorb. The divine, obviously, to make sure you can hit the perfect roll, like 15-7, like this one. And then the valorb to see if you can hit the item sell much more for a vendor with your corruption and add an extra mod, like this one. So this is the jackpot of what you want to do for this craft. If you do that, then you are golden. You can also accept craft like these, where you get like 14% instead of 15. It's not gonna be a big deal to lose 2% crit multi. The most important is the 7% max HP. And if you don't erase the global crit multiplier, you can go ahead and use your Valorb and get the corruption. And once that's it, it's gonna be affected by the adorned, and you're good. That's it for the recipe. Pretty simple. Hey, just like I promised, I'm gonna leave you guys with the simulacrum and the tier 17. Also, I'm always gonna bring you guys some off meta. You probably won't see me do some meta build because it's just too boring in my opinion. So if you're like me and you just want to play some off meta fun, then just subscribe and I will, do my best to bring you guys some more off meta stuff in the future. Have fun and see you in the next one, guys.